Hello everyone. As I have mentioned in my previous tutorial, in this tutorial we are going to learn about data types. So without wasting any time, let's get started. Basically, there are three categories of data type. One is primitive data type, and another one is aggregate data types, and another one is user defined data types. Primitive data types, in the sense, as you can see here, integer, float, double, or character. These comes under the category of primitive data types. So we are going to see what does this int stands for, what is float, what is double, what is character in the hands-on session now. As of now, there are three categories of data type. One is primitive data type, and another one is aggregate data type, and another one is user-defined data type. So aggregate data type, the example is arrays. And arrays can contain the collection of integer, floats, characters, or doubles. So we are going to see in detail how to create arrays, what are the operations that you can perform on arrays in the later stages. As of now, aggregate data type arrays comes under aggregate data types. And another one we have is user defined data types. There are two main categories of user defined data types. One is structures and another one is enum. So about structures and enum also we are going to learn in detail in the later stages. As of now, we'll just see what is the definition for structure, how to define a structure, and how to define a or declare a enum. So I hope you understood about these data types. There are three categories of data type. One is primitive data type, aggregate data type, and user defined data type. Primitive data type. Now let's see the example for primitive data type. Let's consider one variable of integer data type. So in the hands-on session, I am going to explain you what is the size of the integer data type. Like if you create one variable of integer data type, how much space, how much memory it will be occupying in the system, that we are going to see in our hands-on session. So as of now, as I have mentioned, this user defined data types, we have structures and enum. This is how we define a structure with the keyword structure. This struct is called a keyword struct student. This is the structure name, and then we have our elements, the structure elements. That is, student is a structure, and the student has name, roll number, marks, gender, and phone number. So as you can see here, the name is given with the data type of character, and roll number is given with the data type of integer, and marks is given with the data type of float, gender is given with the data type of character, and phone number is given with the data type of int. So similarly for unions, this is how we declare a union. So union disk, and at the end of the declaration of a structure we need to include a semicolon. This is how the syntax is. Similarly for unions we need to include a semicolon. So as you can see here, union disk, we have two integer variables. One is int u width and another one is height. We have disk has two data types, two members inside it. One is height and another one is width. There it looks to be similar, but the memory allocation for structure and unions is different. In case of union, the memory is allocated for the largest data type. If, for example, if this union has two members, say one is integer and another one is double, so then the memory is allocated according to the highest like the what is the largest memory occupied by a variable, the members of unions, the total memory allocated to disk will be equal to the largest member of that particular disk. I hope you understood this. Anyways, we are going to see it in detail in the later tutorial. So as of now, this the difference between structures and unions is the memory allocation. So now let's move into the example. So this is my program. I have included my header file and I am using the namespace std. And now what I am going to do, I am declaring one integer variable a, float variable b, then character variable C. Maybe this much is enough as of now, and now I am going to um, output the size of a size of this integer variable. So if I do that, size of int, you can do that by like this. We have one function called as size of a. If you do this similarly, and we have one endl as a, this endl denotes it's a new line. Like once the compiler gets this endl, then it it makes the output cursor to move to the next line. I'll be explaining this when I'll be executing this code. So as of now, we will print the size of float and character also. So size of float, size of B, and size of character, size of C. So if I compile this code, I will have a return 0, because this will be a good coding practice, because we have int main, and int main should always return some value, like it needs some return type. So it depends on the compiler. Sometimes it will give error, sometimes it won't give error. So see, as you can see here, size of int is 4, size of float is also 4, size of character is 1. So this is like size of int means how much memory it requires, 4 bytes of memory when we declare a variable. The meaning of this size of is that in this a requires 4 bytes of memory in the system. If we declare one integer variable, it requires 4 bytes of memory. If we declare a float variable, then it requires 4 bytes of memory. Whereas if we declare one character variable, it just requires some 1 byte of memory. So let's see some other data types such as double D. Let's print the size of double here. Size of double D. So if we save it and compile it and run it, then size of double is 8. So double requires 8 bytes of memory location in the system. So this is some operations that uh, we can see in case of different data types. This is about primitive data type. So now let's see about some creating one array. So how to create array, we'll see that. Int, maybe I can name my array as ARR. ARR of I will declare 5 elements in that array. About these arrays, we will be having another tutorial. This is some basic for arrays. So just to check what is the size occupied by one array. So if I print this one, this is one integer array of size 5. So now cout size of array, size of ARR endl. So now let's see what will happen. I have compiled it, and now if I run it, size of array comes to be equal to it is equal to 20. Why that happened? Array means each position, there will be 5 positions, 1 2 3 4 5, and each position will be having one integer, can hold one integer. One integer means 4 bytes, so total of 20 byte it should be having, because 5 positions are there. One position will hold 4 bytes, so 5 position means 5 into 4, that is 20. So the size of array will be is equal to 20. We can also change this value to be equal to 100, and if we compile it and run it, then we can see the size of array is equal to 40 now, because 10 positions, one position has 4 requires 4 bytes. So total size of this array will be equal to 40 bytes. So hope this data type concept is clear to you. About structures and union we are going to see in our later tutorial. So thank you for listening. We'll meet in the next tutorial. In the next tutorial, we will be going to learn about the comments in C++, like why we need comments and what are the different kinds of comments that we can use in C++. So thank you for listening. We'll meet in the next tutorial. Bye bye. Thank you.